Right, so we are alive. Okay, I was trying to work on a new program today that Brian suggested that I should use, but I haven't figured out completely yet. That's why I'm not using it. Still the old program, but hopefully this week I will learn how to share all the different screens. It's supposed to be very easy. Hopefully it will not be buffering too much or the screen getting frozen like it is. But we're still going to continue this day. Hopefully it will get better as we go. So welcome, my fellow Bavarians, to the 7th day of the fast for the 7th letter of the Hebrew alphabet, which is Zayin. Zayin, the picture of the plow. Let me get you into that. Let me just put the thing for today. Yeah, the Zayin we're talking about, the sacred Hebrew alphabet called Zayin. All right, that's the number 7, numeric value number 7. Psalm 119 verses 49 to 56. We'll be reading that pretty soon. But let me see. I'm going to try this to see if it gets frozen, just to test it out. Let me see. Oh, no, that's not it. Oh. Okay, so it gave me the things that I was sharing with the people. Now I wanted to share. That's a little GIF I shared with one of your memes. That was really funny. No, but I wanted to share the slide with this, with my picture there, but I guess you took it away. Never mind that. All right, so let me try the. Okay, let me open this folder where we can put a song here then. Let me see, there we go. Okay, we'll try a song from the book of Joshua 1:8. Here, this one. Joshua 1:8, we're told, to meditate on this Torah day and night. This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night. Hello, Brian. And thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success. For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success. This book of the law, this book of the law, this book of the law shall not depart. This book of the law, this book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth. Oh, one more time. This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success. book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, for thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success. Louder? Okay. Okay, I'll put it louder here. The book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, for thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success. For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success. This book of the law, this book of the law, this book of the law shall not depart. This book of the law, this book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth. All right. Now you sound fine. Oh, okay. I thought it was you sound louder. I'm sorry. Oh, okay. So let me put it back the way it was. I thought you needed to sound louder. I didn't get it right. I'm sorry. Trying to read while singing, I cannot do that. I can't chew and walk at the same time. Sorry about that. Okay. All right. All right. So far so good. You know, I'm not sharing too much video, so I'm just sharing more verses, and I'm gonna bring everything to this main screen and not try to get too far away from the screen. So I'm gonna bring everything in here. But basically, we're looking at Zayin, right? That's the letter that we're looking at here. Let me see. Yeah, so that's the 4 verses. Let me take this out. Okay. And so let me go to the Hebrew alphabet here. I'm going to talk about today's letter. That's number 7, the one right here. Zayin, which is the picture of the plow. And it could be considered a weapon, something that will cut, because the plow does that. But it's basically, you know, when you're using the plow, it's for the cultivation, or, you know, plowing the ground, for ground breaking stuff that you're going to do. Yeah, the last time we talked about the connectedness yesterday, you know, this one here, the Vav. So once we come to the 7, that's when the work of cultivation begins. You know, that when we start the job of cultivating the ground, you know. Once you have the Vav, which is the map of all the connections, right? You have all schematics, all the connections, the way things are going to be assembled for your business, what you're going to do. Then you start cultivating the ground, you know, where you're going to be sowing the seed and harvesting the ground. And here in the case is for our souls, you know, what's going to be going into us, planting everything right and connecting everything right, so people will grow up into the mature expression of the Father, of the Aleph Beth. Okay, because this whole alphabet is complete in of itself. It's all to bring us into the character of our Maker, you know. That's what a good dabar, or gospel. The word gospel means good dabar, tab dabar. Okay, gospel means good news. Good is tab. News is dabar. So tab dabar. And also, you know, in Christianity, the one that brought Christianity, he called himself the way, the truth, and the life, for the purpose of bringing you not to heaven, but to the Father. Okay, because the Aleph Beth, if you're going to teach the Aleph Beth, is for the purpose of bringing you to the Father, because that's Aleph Bet, that's what it means. So bringing you to the mindset of the Father, so you can be an avatar for the Father to flow out of you in this world. And that's the whole thing that we're here to appropriate the character. And that's exactly what we're deficient of. We're not vaccine deficient, we're Father deficient, we're the Av deficient. Not a vaccine, but a Av, A-V. Okay? You say A-V, they want to put an A-V, A-V, and then put the rest vaccine. You don't need anything after the A-V. Just, that's it. That's all we're deficient. We're deficient of the ab. Even though a vaccine has AV at the beginning, a vaccine, we don't need the rest of it. We're not vaccine deficient. We're just deficient of the ab. And that's where I'm cultivating, cultivating the soil of the mind and the heart and all of you to plant in you the character of your maker. Okay? And so that's what we're doing. So we start the work of cultivation. And once you do the cultivation, you understand, even when you plant the building, what do you do after you open up a building and you set up something? You set it apart. You put fences around because you protect the area that's going to be the area of the cultivation is going to take place. You fence it and you protect it. That's why the next one that falls is the fence that protects it. Then after that comes the basket that collects all the goods from there, and dispenses and does the distribution. After this thing, after the cultivation takes place, you protect the cultivation, and then you get the basket, you do the distribution of it, and then you do the work of giving out the goods of that distribution, the approved goods of that distribution. And those are the instructions that you give. All of that. So you see the order that follows there, right? So we're working right now on that, and it makes me think of the way I'm trying to teach you the Hebrew is to understand that the Hebrew is not just stories. There are wonderful stories in there, but behind each letter, there's a function, and basically to tell us how to run the business of revealing the character of God, because that's the ultimate reason why we were created for, to manifest his character upon this creation. All right? So let me share a little passage that I was thinking about today. This passage also was used to describe what happened to Jesus when he came on Palm Sunday, riding on the ass. Okay, let me read here from Zechariah. Yeah, Zechariah chapter 9, verses 9. I have it here already. All right, let me see if I can. Get close to this a little bit. All right, it's not too far. All right, let me see here. All right, so here we are. So in this passage, it says, "Rejoice greatly, O daughter of Zion. Shout, O daughter of Jerusalem. Behold, the King cometh unto thee. He is just and having salvation, having completeness, lowly and riding upon an ass, and upon a colt, the foal of an ass." Okay, and then you got to understand that in Bible terminology, the ass is an animal to work on the field. Okay, it's an instrument to do your work on the field. That's what an ass is considered. So for the regular field, an ass is what you utilize. So this means that the person that is going to bring the understanding, of the Father, the one appointed for that, the one assigned for that purpose, he's going to be coming. When you're a king in the Bible, is if you decipher something from the scriptures that nobody else has been able to decipher, because you meditated on it, and that's why it is the honor of God to hide something, but it's the honor of kings to search them out. It says, in the Bible. So God hides things in there because God's looking for the lover that wants to find his treasures. And the one that finds his treasure, is a king among men because he knows something that connects, the mindset of God with something the world has not received before. So in that area, you become like notorious in that area for something that you become the leading person to do it that way. Then you get people that learn from you. That's exactly when you come up with a new idea for a product or service. You become like the people that open a mattress store. I'm the king of the mattresses. Everybody that has an idea of selling a product better than everybody, they think that they're the king. Well, I have an idea of how to bring the mindset of the Father through the understanding of the code of the alphabet. And I think I've taken the lead on that in this world right now because I had gotten it from just looking into it myself, and understanding and discovering the code because of everything that I've been doing in my life, and the code is there. I mean, it just opens up everything. Makes a lot of sense, but I can understand what it is. So, in that sense, you establish a certain leadership, could say. So, but also, so you understand that the ass is like an instrument to work in the field, and the horse is like an instrument to work in the battlefield.
So in the Bible, a horse is for working in the battlefield, to go to battle and to make war. For the battlefield, you utilize a horse. But for the regular field, of cultivation, to work in the land, you utilize an ass. So that's an instrument for cultivating the field. Okay, and that's what he's talking about here. That this person that's going to be doing this, because the whole thing that he's going to bring in is not to show himself up. He's got to bring the message of salvation, the message of completeness. Salvation means completeness. He's going to make you complete in the Aleph Bet. So complete in understanding of the Torah, that's nothing else that you go to the world to get that needs to complete you still. You're going to be so complete in that and everything. So that's all you need, because, everything that's made was made for definite instructions. We were made definite instructions to reveal the mindset of our Maker. And once we receive that, we abide in those instructions. That's why we sing the song right now, this book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, 24/7. Because that's our dwelling place throughout all generations, the instructions for which we were made. Okay, so that's the instrument, So he's using an instrument to work in the field, not to do battle, not in the battlefield, but in the field of cultivation and doing harvesting, sowing and planting and watering and all that. Okay, to the cultivation, it takes care of that. And how do I know that? Because you read everything in context. The very next verse that follow, he says what? It says, but let me read 9 and then I go to verse 10 so you understand the fluidity. Rejoice greatly, O daughter of Zion. Shout, O daughter of Jerusalem. Behold, thy king cometh unto thee. He is just and having salvation, lowly and riding upon an ass and upon a colt of the foal of an ass. Now, verse 10. And I will cut off the chariots. The chariots are like instruments ridden by horses, you understand? People go for battle. The chariot from Ephraim and the horse from Jerusalem. So it means they're not going to longer be doing battle, because outside the ass is an instrument for the regular field of cultivating, and there's this coming and says they shall turn their weapons of war into plowshares. You see, they're going to cultivate, they're going to stop the war. All the weapons of war, they're going to turn into plowshares. They start cultivating. That means they're going to grow the character of God from the words that they speak. No longer use the words, to want things that everybody else wants, to promote covetousness and envy and all this stuff that is just the mindset of war. So this is the contrast here. So there's this guy that's going to teach you not to war in this world, because there's nothing that you need once you understand that the abundance of the mindset of the Father is all that completes you. Then there's no need to go to war, because that's what you're cultivating in your heart and in your soul, and that's what you're going to have an abundance of. So that's what's coming. So this is a contrast in this verse 9 with the person that is riding an ass, that's cultivating the field, and verse 10, there's going to be no more riding of the horse. So no more battlegrounds, no more of that. So this is now for the time of the abundance of the manifestation. So you see here, so the horse is an instrument for the battlefield. The ass is an instrument for the regular field of cultivation and bringing abundance. So that's what we're talking about. And that's what needs to happen. For any company to create an abundance, they have to work on just keeping the manual and the products and the guidelines, the mission statement and all the words, and comply with all those things on the products and services could be abundantly made every year. And the companies to do that, that's why they're producers, because they follow those things. So they are not in a battle. They're to take things from anybody. They're there to produce everything and just clear out the inventory. The more they clean up the inventory, the better and successful they are. Okay, so that's how it is. So that's what we're talking about, And I was thinking how interesting, because for a lot of the black people in this land, as I read the story, supposedly when they were sent out free as a freedom token, they gave him like 40 acres, I believe, 40 acres and a mule. That was supposed to be, not everybody got it, but according to the historians that I was reading, 40 acres and a mule was the price that you got for freedom, because the mule was going to be the instrument to till the field. So 40 pieces of field and a mule to cultivate that field. So that's how you start, with a peaceful existence among your fellow men. That's how America thought of giving the emancipated black man, 40 acres and a mule, all right? And I was thinking that as I look here, you know, by comparison of the function, right? Because right now we are in the cloud, in the system of the cloud. I told you before, everything in the Bible is about the function of things. Why do they call it the cloud system? This technology that gathers the information and then downloads it again, because that's the function of the cloud. You know, it gathers the waters and then it brings them down. So the thing is, all the information, digital information, is gathering into this place, you know, and then it's downloaded again whenever you need it. So it's up and down. It's the function of the cloud. Because of the function, it's called a cloud. So that's what the Bible is about the function of things. Okay, so that's, we have to look just at the appearance of something, but at the operation of something. And that's what God calls it. By the function, he calls it something, and not by what it looks. God look it upon the heart. And the heart, you know, is the instructions, the guidelines, or the blueprints. Because that's what the word, you know, house is just the floor plan or the blueprints. And a heart means the guidelines of the floor plan. So God looks at how it's connected to put together. So he looks at the instructions, how. So that's why we need to look at how God looks at things. He looks at what things are functioning, okay? So right now I'm thinking, yeah, I am here, I'm sitting on my ass, and my instrument is actually this little computer that is in day and night most of the time. And with this one, I go to me, the field that's been given to me to relay this message to me, I find not 40 acres, but almost 4 billion, you know, souls have access to social media right now. The last I heard, like in March, it was saying like there are 3.8 people, you know, that use social media, one form or another right now. So they're in the cloud from 5 hours and so more a day, okay? Some of them pass through YouTube, Facebook, all these things, 3.8. But the way that people are isolated now, by this time, I'm sure they're 4 billion now. Because, you know, there's no place else to go. You know, so people have to go to social media, okay? So I think I have 4 billion hearts and souls and minds where the fields where I can cultivate, you know, from this little place here, sitting on my ass here, you know, I can send these messages, you know, so that people will then, and I can do this every day, by the way. You know, I'm finding it so easy to explain these things because everything lines up with this code. The whole Bible opens up to this code. So, you know, I can spend day and night. So this is the part of cultivating that's beginning, you know. We're starting to do the cultivation of the right things, you know, and that's the beautiful thing about it. Because everything starts in the mind. You got to create a mindset for people to follow. Once they have a certain idea of what you expect of them, then they just go and do it because they think they already understand. Just like when people go and do a job, they give them certain instructions. You got it? Okay, then go do it. And that's how it is. From childhood, we get certain ideas, and then they expect us to understand it, and then they expect to work on it, you know. Like, let me see if I have this thing that I wanted to share. Yeah, from Orson. Let me put this one here. This guy. All right. All right, Brian. Okay, I'm glad you keep watching them. I appreciate that. Okay, so this guy, this guy is off. This is an author, George Orwell. He wrote, I think, 1984. He also wrote another one, Animal Farm. But this is a guy that studies the psyche of humanity, and he writes his books according to the way of. He's a very good observer of human behavior, and based upon that, he's written these interesting books. But this is something that he says, I believe. I saw somebody sharing this, and I took it in to share with the lessons. It says, power is in tearing human minds to pieces and putting them together again in new shapes of your own choosing. You see, and that's what social engineering is all about. You know, they tear up all concepts and ideas that people have grown up with, and then they give them new ideas, new way of looking at things, new way of craving after things, and so then you shift their desires, and then they work. Once they understand, so okay, I got it. Now I'm supposed to be here and want this and crave this, and I got it, and that's what they go and do. All right. So to we right now, the economies are faltering. They're not, you know, they don't have their act together, because we have a lot of people that really don't, you know, that tell you to believe in something that they themselves don't believe, you know. And I'm going to get into this right now, because that's why I'm going to start to cultivate right now. The cultivation that we do once we do the opening up of the, you know, the fallow ground. You break the fallow ground, the hardened ground. You begin to pass the plow there, you know, because right now a lot of your hearts and souls, you don't know what's going on. You're like a arid land, dry land right now. Because, nothing's growing you. There's no hope. There's no strength in you. You're just like dried out right now because the way the economy is going, you have no hope for future right now. Some of you that have been taught to hope in a rapture, as if that is what God made us for. It's more important to be in the mindset of God than to be in any sort of rapture. So wrap your head around this concept in a moment, please. Okay? The mindset of your Father is achievable right here in the now, in the here and now, through the Aleph Bet. And I'm teaching it to you. I already have it. I'm just giving it to you. Okay? Because when this situation that has happened right now, hey, my life is more healthier than before, more stamina than before, more stronger than before, and none of these things are affecting me. So I'm just giving to you my davar, the administration of the economy, the word that keeps me in the strength and in the ability that I have. I want to share that with you, to put you in that mindset as well. And that's my contribution. That riches of my soul, I want to pass it on to your soul. That confidence of my soul, I want to pass it on to your soul. And that is because I'm constantly looking at the Father in the beauty of his temple. He is my abiding place throughout all generations. That's what you need to be. Okay? Don't let that's one thing I was thinking this morning. I was thinking, I'm going to tell them that. If somebody came, because this whole world right now, right, is telling you that, that's why I was saying, like, this week, at the beginning of this week, a lot of the kindergartens and first graders began to go to school, and that's when they start learning the alphabet, the alphabet. Everybody goes through life. You and I, we went to school, and they taught us the alphabet. Alfabeto en español, alphabet in Hebrew, and there's alphabet. Those two letters in Hebrew is the Father. That means all of them, they told you that they were going to teach you about the Father and the character of the Father. And that means that they were telling you, we're going to teach you the alphabet. That means we're going to introduce you to the Father of completeness and wholesomeness, that doesn't need anything from this world, but rejoices in renewing and refreshing and taking care of everything. You're going to have that in you, because that's what the whole idea, that you're going to give the alphabet. Now, did any of them give you that? Did they set your mind and soul into the mindset of the Father so that you are growing with that, kind of peacefulness, and the way you go around this world, nothing faces you. You know how to handle every situation, because circumstances you were not made for comfortable circumstances. You were made to a concrete, solid character that can just flow out of you, and reveal kindness to all man, because that's, the dimension of living in the Aleph Bet, in the Father mindset. If they did not give you to that, you need to go and get your money back. They all lied to you. I was thinking, that's what I need to tell them. Everybody that went to any school, remember, and they teach you the alphabet. If they say, we're going to teach you the alphabet, today we're going to teach you the alphabet. That means they're saying, we're going to introduce you to the Father, to the mindset of the Father. And they touch the sound of the letters, but they never get around to teach you how God thinks, how he feels, how he chooses, none of those things, so that you will be growing in his character. So if they never deliver that to you, they have all lied to you. And if you went to a church that did not introduce you to the Father that way, they have all taken your tithe and they stolen from you. They have all taken your offerings and you have got nothing for it. Because you came here for the purpose of the Father being revealed to you. That's what Jesus said. When he says, I am the way, the truth, and the life, no man coming unto heaven. And he didn't say that. No man coming unto the Father. The purpose for what Jesus came is to bring you to the Father. But by the way, and he took upon himself the identification of the Torah, because the Torah is the way, the Torah is the truth, and the Torah is the life. I can show you the passages that tells that. So he was calling himself by what the Torah is. So I'm teaching you direct Torah because I want to keep you in the Torah. Since the churches did not bring you to the Torah, they just kept you in an imaginary Jesus that's just in your head because you never line it up with the words of the Hebrew. Okay, so then Jesus just became a figment of your imagination because he never introduced you to the Father. And I don't blame them. Their seminars and everything don't teach this either. Okay, they just teach something that is a figment of their imagination because it has to line up with the Lashon Kadosh, the original language of the Hebrew. Everything else that came after that, when he was dividing the languages to cause confusion, because people wanted to be rebellious against God. So all languages were created to keep people confused. So in order to go back to understand him, you go back to the original language. Okay, and you see how he connects everything, and then you're introduced to his mindset. So I was thinking, that's why everybody has been lied. That's why I like that verse in Romans, let the LGBT that needs to be preached. LGBT, let God be true. LGBT, let God be true, and every man a liar. So I'm giving you the alphabet the way it's supposed to be. So the way God gave it to Moses in the original language. That's so I'm saying, let God be true. This is what the truth is. And everybody else that told you in other languages, we're giving you the alphabet, but they not took you to the mother language, the Hebrew, they all lie to you. Because they need to have introduced you to that and take you there and explain it from the mindset of the maker. Okay, so you will be there. So let God be true. So that's why we have what we have. Because God becomes the standard of truth. The original mother language, the Hebrew, it becomes the standard of truth, of Emet. I will explain to you what Emet is, but it's not going to be another lesson. Okay? And therefore, that's the thing that we come up on an agreement. And then you can see how everything lines up with the setup of all the economies in the world. I'm just connecting everything and see how it works. God had to raise me in an environment of being a translator for 40 years so I can get to the point that I'm translating the Bible now in the mindset of the maker, in the mindset of the creator. So I can explain it this way now. So I've been understanding this for a while. So all you have to do is just listen to me. Pretty soon you will understand how I connect the languages to the creation of God. But it's just a matter of listening and sitting down. Okay, so that's what I'm giving you. So I'm cultivating, this ground. I'm doing the word of cultivation. So I'm breaking the fallow ground. We're going to plant the seed of instructions. I'm going to sing the word of God to you. I'm going to teach it to you. I'm going to sing it to you. I'm going to put it in a poem for you. I'm going to make it any way possible with all the talent that God has given me to make the word of the maker very enjoyable to you. So it will not be boring or dry as most places. So that's why I suppose that's why he gave me all these talents. I can write music, I can write poems, I can write acronyms, I can do all these things. I'm a wordsmith. I love to do things with words back and forth. And now I'm into the Hebrew. Woo! Oh man, there's no end to the Hebrew, with so much in-depth understanding. Woo! I'm like a little baby there, in a playground when I'm with the Hebrew language. So what can I tell you? I'm in my infancy there, but I'm having the greatest time of my life. Okay? So, back again, those of you that had not given you the Father and they told you they need to pay that, they need you reparations. I'm just joking here, but hey, they deprive you of the Father. So that's why I'm saying in this day and age, we are not vaccine deficient. We are, because some people said you need a vaccine, A, and a V vaccine start with a AB, but it has the rest of the stuff you don't need. So the vaccine is not what you need. You don't need a vaccine. You need a AB, AV, but AB means Father. So you need the mindset of the Father. That's all souls are deficient of that because they were supposed to be injected into the brains and their hearts from the moment they started the kindergarten and first grade. A lot did this. So a lot of kids started, and all of them have been lied to because I can surely tell you that none of them are getting the mindset of the Father with that alphabet that they're learning in the school. But I'm giving it to you. I'm taking you to that mindset and I'm going to keep you there. Because if you hang with me, that's all I talk about. I brag about him all day long. Okay, so I'm gonna keep you in that mindset. Okay, so that's gonna be my cultivation. All right, and so one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about. Let me use this thing. Because what we're gonna do once people open the ground, they follow, the hard dry ground, and they start cultivating and sowing the plants. Or when people start opening a business and they start, building everything from the ground up, what they do is they set up an office as a building. And those offices are for different positions, okay? Because once you have a business, in order to execute the business, what do? You have to provide strong solutions that generate an activation for the product and services, right? That's what you need to do. Once you have a position, the positions are open up, so everybody that takes that position are there to provide strong solutions that generate an activation or that produce an activation or an animation of a product or service. And that's exactly what is that? What is that word that I'm spelling when I'm saying once you have a building and you have a position, you're ready to you do those positions because people need to provide a strong solution that generates activation or animation of a product or service. Those four words that I'm using, strong solutions that animate an activation of a product or service, strong solutions that animate, that generate animation, strong solutions that generate animation or generate activation. That thing is the spelling of emuna, or what we call faith. Okay, let me take you to this. I now have it written down here, and with the letters. Okay, faith is with the aleph for aleph, the strong, the mem for m, the solutions, and the noon is the little seed for continuation or generation, and the hey for activation or animation, or revealing activation or animation. So when you read it together, it's the fortifying or the strong solutions that generate activation. That's what emuna means. And when you go look in a concordance, you will find the different ways that emuna is translated into the English language. It's translated either as confidence, or trust, or believe, or faith, but actually also is translated as set office, which appears translated like that in English in various parts of the Old Testament, set office. And I thought that's very interesting. That's how it got me interested. And that's when I began to understand that that's exactly what so it's a set office, an office that is set aside for something specific to produce, certain thing that is expected to that. Even a trust fund, a lot of banks have trust fund offices. The word trust, it's also emuna. So that's like a set office. A trust fund office is a set office for a certain thing, monetary, productivity. But banks are also called trust creditors. So all these things, emuna is not something that is in the blue yonder, that is just in your head. Something that is concrete, something that is palpable, something that you can deal with. So it's a practical thing, very pragmatic. So it's a strong solutions that generate, activation of a product or service. So every company, when they have the bar, the administration of the economy, the administration of the schematics, that they set up a building and everything, they have the different positions in there to be able to produce the strong solutions that generate an activation, or an animation of a product and service. So all the positions in the world are the positions of faith. All the jobs that are openings are there so that the person that takes that job is there to provide the strong solutions that generate the activation of that product or service that they're offering. So every company has, when you understand the meaning of the letters, you understand that as happens all over the place. Everybody that's working in a company there to provide strong solutions to generate an activation for a product or service, he is working in the position of emuna. That's what faith is all about. So this is part of the cultivation. So I'm cultivating this in you so that you will have the strong solutions to generate, the activation of the Father in you. Because that's the product I'm delivering. That's the only thing that's missing. You have all kinds of comforts for the flesh that aren't even necessary. You have all kinds of things that you don't even need. And you worry about those things. But if you have the character of the Father in you, you'll be more happy to be giving things away all the time. Because the little comforts in this world are not going to thrill you. The character of revealing your maker, that's what's going to be enjoyable for you. All right? So, you see, so we're starting right now. So I'm going to give you this, emuna. Okay? Because the strong solutions that generate, an activation. Okay? And to do a certain things, So in the Gospel of John, I found that because when you know the Hebrew, you understand, and this, the first Christians, they come from the Hebrew roots. That's why you understand that in the book of John, you understand that guy was, the whole book is dedicated to the word emuna, by the way. It's written in Greek. You will never know if you only study Greek. You will only understand it if you study the Hebrew. But there's a lot. The word believe or trust appears in the book of John like 85 or 86 times. Okay, so it's all about trying to get you to believe, and it's trying to get you to for the word emuna. So the whole book is dedicated for the word emuna, and also the stories there, they all signify, the pictorial stories there, they're all a picture of emuna. You know, like when he talked to Nicodemus, he says, unless you're born of the waters, you know, and of the Spirit, okay, you shall not be able to enter into the kingdom of heaven. You know, so there, if you're born of the water and of the Spirit, okay, you see, the word born comes from noon. That's the water is man. Okay, so the strong waters are there. So unless you're born from the strong waters, the strong solutions, or the solutions, born is the end. So the strong waters are there, and the waters, and the born is the word noon, because born is when the seed is born. Generation that generates the solutions that generate what? Then is hay. Hay is ruach. It's the breath. It's the thing for breath. Okay. So the waters are there, the generation is there, and the breath is there. So it says, unless you're born of the water and of the Spirit. He's spelling the word emuna in the story, and you don't get it because you don't know Hebrew. And you go to a seminary and they teach you Greek, and Greek does not spell emuna that way. Does not talk about faith that way. So you will never understand that the whole Gospel of John is a subliminal message. Even the stories, even the woman at the well, emuna, the picture of emuna is found in the woman of the well. When he's walking on water, the picture of emuna is found there. You know, so in there at the beginning, you know, when it says, unless you're born of the strong waters, you're born of those waters that generate the Spirit, you cannot do the function of the dabar, because then he spell out the dabar. The dabar is the dalet, the entrance. The dalet is for the door, that entrance of the kingdom of God, the basileia of the heavens. That's the economy. The bar, you know, the entrance to the house of the ruler. So that's the enter kingdom heaven. Okay, so the bar is spelled out in there. Enter the kingdom of heaven. All of that stuff. See the kingdom of heaven. Enter the kingdom of heaven. That's the spelling of the bar. So unless you know Hebrew, you will not be able to decipher why they talk that way. They're just spelling out, you know, in pictures the word the bar. You know, and they tell you the story of that, they're spelling out the word emuna. And like I said again, if you go read that. So that's what you find fascinating. If you get into this, then you're gonna be reading. When you read it, you'll discover, you know, that there's a certain reason why the stories are told, while even the parables are told in a certain order. You know, he that enters the house of the sheep, you know, so there's the entrance to the house of the sheep of the shepherd. So the entrance to the house of the sheep of the shepherd, that's the end. What's that? The bar right there, you know. So he's spelling the bar in that story, you know, the word for word in Hebrew. So there's a lot of things like that. So once you understand the pictures, you understand what the pictures represent, then it will be fascinating. So you'll see how they write these things, you know, they hide all these messages in it, but that's the treasure of getting into the word. So I'm trying to cultivate an enthusiasm in you, that there's a lot of things that are yet for you to discover, my friends. You know, and I hope you get into this. So I'm starting the cultivation. You know, I'll just give you a little thing. So that's we talk about Zayin today. You know, that was the main thing. And let me see if I can get out of here, so I can bring the picture of Zayin at least back. Yeah, let me see. So Zayin is the 7th letter. We're looking at this, the PLOW. All right. So that's what we're looking at today. So, you know, we are going to cultivate, you know, your hearts and minds, you know, so that you will deliver. You know, you will be able to have the strong solutions that generate the activation of the Father. You're going to have the faith to show the Father. Because that's what Emunah is, the strong solutions that generate the activation of the Father. That's faith on the Father. And that's what I'm going to teach you. Letter by letter, picture by picture. And it's going to be enjoyable. Just stick around, you know. We're going to have fun with this. All right, let me sign up. All right, let me close these things. And thanks to Adonai and Elohenu, things work pretty good. All right. So have a great evening, and we'll get back tomorrow for the letter that follows. May God bless you. Bye-bye.